You're listening to a Countout Podcast.
Why choose proven quality sleep from Sleep Number? Because our Sleep Number 360 smart bed is really smart. It senses your movement and automatically adjusts to help keep you both comfortable. Plus, it's temperature balancing so you stay cool. It's even smart enough to know exactly how long, how well, and when you slept. Our smart sleepers get 28 minutes more restful sleep per night. Sleep Number takes care of the science. All you have to do is sleep. Don't miss the final days of the biggest sale of the year. Save 50% on the Sleep Number 360 limited edition smart bed. Ends Monday. To learn more, go to sleepnumber.com.
Don't miss Sleep Number's biggest sale of the year, where all smart beds are on sale. Right now, save 50% on the Sleep Number 360 limited edition smart bed. The bed's so smart, it senses your movements and automatically adjusts to keep you both comfortable all night long. So save 50% on the Sleep Number 360 limited edition smart bed today. Hurry, free delivery and special financing on all smart beds through Labor Day. Special financing subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. See sleepnumber.com for details.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ryan Scotty's AEW All Out post-show live on Patreon review of All Out pay-per-view review. I am Ryan Knightley. With me as always. It is, it's only 12:13 in the morning, but I feel better than I have in past early morning, late night, post pay-per-view thoughts. I don't know, how are you feeling right now at this late junction?
I feel pretty good. I need to so obviously I watched it with my friend, and he was zonked, right? Because this is his first AEW pay-per-view, so you don't really know what to expect. I need to rewatch the main event,
sure,
because one, I was starting to get a little tired at times, and I think I was kind of thrown off a little bit by a couple matches in a row that just ran out of energy. The show really hit a halt after that Acclaimed tag match.
Yeah, in
terms of, I really did say, I said this multiple times, the crowd is saving themselves for the main event. That is what's happening here. Initially, I think there was a claimed match, Calm Down, right?
Yeah.
And then by the time you got to Danielson and Jericho, which I didn't think was all that good, it was okay, let's just save ourselves for the main event here, because we need all our energy for that match. That's what we're here for, after all. So, for me, and I'm sitting there, right, asking myself, okay, so are they gonna do the Joker reveal at the end? And
yeah,
that's all that mattered to me at that point.
Yeah.
So I gotta rewatch it, because I remember liking it a lot, but I missed some bits, just me watching wise. The right result happened, and I think the right finish of the entire show happened. It was an up and down show. Not AEW's finest pay-per-view, but nowhere close near their worst.
Yeah.
Either.
No.
Some great matches in there. Some duds. Some interesting booking. And I'm excited. This is one of the pay-per-views I'm most excited to talk about, because it's very interesting booking in a lot of matches.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of. I thought it was fine. I enjoyed myself. Like you said, there was a lot of stuff that was in there that was good. Some interesting booking decisions.
There's just too many matches.
Yeah.
The time doesn't matter to me. It's too many matches.
It's too many. I mean, how many matches have why did we start? When did we start skyrocketing with these match numbers? With these paper, when did we start doing this?
They've always had a lot of matches.
Yeah, but I feel in the past
I thought 11
year,
was the usual.
Let me look this up.
And as I've thought about it, I think their main problem with these is that there's so many matches. I don't care that it ends at midnight. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 4-hour pay-per-view. That's fine. It doesn't really affect me. It's the fact that you have so many matches that there's no time to breathe. There's no time to just rest. And listen, I watched Worlds Collide today. I watched Clash at the Castle. I hate the Peacock breaks.
Mm-hmm.
I do, because they're so long.
Yeah.
But I was like, some of those would have been good today, just so I can like take a breather. Because again, you're just going, and I think that hurts the matches overall. It does.
Yeah, I'm just scrolling through real quick the AEW pay-per-view match, number. And in what year is this? 2020, we're at like 9 matches a pay-per-view, right?
Which people thought was too many back then.
Yeah, because I think at the time people were also comparing it to like Double or Nothing a little bit. And then All Out expands to 11 matches. Full Gear goes back to 9. Then in 2021 of Revolution in March, ironically, that's when it. No, that actually stays back at 9. Where did it start going? Quite high. Double or Nothing 2020 was that. I didn't realize I got this far. I think I accidentally clicked the wrong link. That's probably what happened. It was, so Revolution 2022 was the first pay-per-view where they went above 10 matches, where they went to 12, right? Double or Nothing, they went to 13. Forbidden Door, they went to also 13. And for here, we're now at the most matches ever on a pay-per-view at 15. Granted, obviously, there's a couple matches that were super short, right? That were not a match, but rather just an angle. Do I want that on my pay-per-views? Not really, not entirely. However, it is one of those things, I guess, right? It is one of those things. So ultimately, it is what it is. I do think, though, that having more matches and filling up that time with entrances, and even if the matches are short, it does something, right? It creates more time in the middle where we could be watching really good wrestling or something. I feel like it's a response to like the bigger roster and more roster people and wanting to have everyone on the pay-per-views, and that's something that people have always been like arguing about, is like, oh well, we have this big roster, why don't you just have everyone on the pay-per-views? But this is the byproduct of listening to that, is having everyone on the pay-per-views, having shorter matches because of that, having more 6-man tags because of that, and having all these instances. So you can't have your cake and eat it too. That's kind of what the whole gimmick here is. But ultimately, I think for this show, it dragged in the middle, but it had good bookends. It had a little good match in the middle. Had a little in the middle, but it had much back on the back end. Obviously, we had the reveal of MJF returning to AEW, kind of returning. I don't know if he ever left officially. We had Tony Khan's voicemails dug up to do the reveal. I think if people were paying attention, obviously, I don't think it was too subtle about who the Joker, the devil, was. But ultimately was MJF. The Burberry scarf got a pop. MJF got a chant in Chicago against CM Punk. So
CM Punk's going off right now in the scrum.
Oh, is he going off right now in the scrum? Oh, great. Is he Roman Reigns in it? Is it good stuff? Is it good stuff?
It sounds like he's going off about Colt Cabana.
Oh, he's going off about Colt Cabana.
CM Punk said AEW's EVPs couldn't manage a target.
What?
Oh boy. He's like going off.
Okay, can you
I'm not watching it. I'm trying to find. People are pissed.
Yeah, I'm seeing he's shooting. Okay, here we go. Let's see what Trevor Dame has. I see he's got stuff. Punk is pissed off that someone asked about Colt. Apparently, that's the first question. Wow. Okay, here we go. Punk, are you friends of Scott Colton? Reporter says no. That makes two of us, is what Punk's response is. Punk says he hasn't been friends with Scott Colton for 10 years. He's infuriated. He said he brought a guy with him that didn't want to see him at the top. He says he paid every bill for him. He has all the receipts. Punk quotes an email from Colt saying he didn't have to pay, and then says Colt only wanted to drop his lawsuit against him when they found out he shared a bank account with his mom. Punk calls out the EVPs for planting the story, says they couldn't manage a target, says, quote, they should have fucking known better, and they shouldn't have done that. He understands sticking up for his friends. He used to for Scott Colton. He is now shitting on Adam Page for going into business for himself on that promo, says we're, quote, far beyond apologize, and Page jeopardized $1 million house here. Punk is absolutely infuriated, swearing, only referring to Colt as Scott Colton. Tony's uncomfortable, pointing out that he told Forbes this week that Punk had nothing to do with Colt going to ROH. Punk says Tony shouldn't have had to. Oh my God, what the fuck? Oh my God. You know what? Here we go. Right off the bat, I will say with this all being blown up right now, as live as we're happening with this, compared to the WWE post conference, I'm loving the lack of snowballs here. I'm loving we're throwing rocks, we're not throwing snowballs. Holy shit!
Spicy meatball.
That is a fucking. Oh my God.
All right. Okay. Where do we go here? I think what we should do is maybe go to the top of the show and walk through this pay-per-view, because otherwise it sounds like we might be stuck for a while. Maybe we'll just you want to keep media call for the end?
Yeah.
It's like it's already a lot.
Oh my fucking God, my guy. Oh my God. I just love Punk says when Scott Colton sued him, he asked to talk to him. He was denied. He was asked for mediation. He was denied. Punk offered him money. It wasn't enough. Punk again says Colt sharing a bank account with his mom tells you all he needs to know. Holy shit. Trevor says he can't explain how angry Punk is. He's fuming. He's also eating a muffin as he is ranting. And is now plugging the place that made them. What the fuck? What the fuck is this? Oh my God. Okay, yeah. Let's talk about. How do you go from just this to 0 hour? Oh my God. Okay, take a breath. Take a pause, Scotty.
I put the scrum on just to see him eating the muffin. He's got blood all over his face, a towel around his neck, and is just mowing on a muffin. And Tony Khan's just sitting there like, yeah, all right, whatever. Let's try to make this work. All right. Woo.
AEW 0 hour.
By the way, people, I love CM Punk, and I always will. And that's part of the reason why, because he don't give a fuck. Oh my God.
Oh my God. Okay. Gotta regroup here.
I don't even know where to go, dude. I'm not gonna react to it right now. I'll react to it later.
Okay, yeah. Let's
I think he's I think part of him's working and part of him's not. Like with the Colt Cabana stuff, that's probably legit shoot because he's called by Scott Colton. I think the EVP and I don't know. Let's just try all on 0 hour.
Yeah, let's talk about 0 hour and then we'll circle back to updates about that. So let's talk about 0 hour.
We just got hit by the golf cart that Sammy Guevara got hit by.
Yeah, so we open up with us getting hit by a golf cart just like Sammy Guevara.
Oh my God, who even cares, dude?
Trevor Dame, I just looked back at it, and Trevor Dame said that people are asking about MJF, and Tony is giving a generic wrestling answer. And amazes me that Punk has done to MJF what MJF did to Wardlow at the last pay-per-view. No longer a story. Which is a great point, which is really how I feel right now. Is that it's just like, how the fuck do we talk about anything else when that just happened? When he fucking shotgun blast, not like shooting, a shotgun blast at a press conference.
All right.
Fucking Christ.
This is bad audio. Ortiz and Ruby Soho
Thank
versus
you.
Sammy Guevara and Ty Conchi and Street Clothes.
Yeah, this. So we opened up the 0 hour with this. This was, I've had the thought when I was watching this match that this was people like dunk on it.
Still going.
Don't look away. It's a car crash. I understand. The thing is about this. This is 100% a car crash that's happening. I mean, do we just have to swerve completely and just keep reading what the new posts are?
No, we gotta focus. I mean, we got to review this show. And if we don't start with match 1, we're going to have 15 matches by the time. Man, do you want to just. I don't know. I don't know. Do
okay.
We want to no, because it's going to keep coming out. Like, they're going to have Kenny on there. They're going to have the Bucks. And they're going to respond.
I mean, at this point, I don't think you have Kenny on there. I don't think you have the Bucks on there. I don't think you have the EVPs anywhere close to this. So, because that's all the questions they're going to have for the EVPs.
He's friends with the. Whatever.
Supposedly.
Okay. Let's start this show, please.
Yeah. So 0 hour.
I'm staying off of Twitter until we are done.
Yeah, that's a good point. So 0 hour happened. Sammy Guevara and Tay Mello defeated Ortiz and Ruby Soho. So I had this thought when I was watching this match that, people.
Why is this happening?
One, yes. For the third time, right? The third time that this match happened.
Rampage match. Rampage special.
Well, at least it's on 0 hour. No, I had the thought that, like, remember at one point in time, people dunking on TK for not wanting to do like intergender wrestling on in AEW.
Yeah.
Mixed tag team matches. I mean, look how much like intergender wrestling happened on this show, right?
You made that point earlier today too.
Maybe not like fully safe. This match, Ruby Soho walked away with a broken nose. At one point, she got literally just supremely dumped onto her neck, onto the like crown of her head. That was super bad, and not Kip Sapien super bad. It was a fine match, a fine outing. Was not the safest of matches, but boy howdy, it was there. Do you have any quick thoughts on that?
I feel bad for Ruby for breaking her nose. Obviously, that sucked. I didn't think the match was bad. Thought it was entertaining for what it was. Just weird. Like, I'm very ready to move on from this this Blackpool Combat Club, Eddie Kingston, Legion versus Jericho Appreciation Society feud. It's lasted 2 pay-per-views now, and I think none of it delivered tonight. So it's time to move on.
Yeah, I think tonight is 100% the end of that. We'll talk about it a little bit with Ricky Starks, but I definitely feel like they're already sizing up Ricky and Chris Jericho based on that kind of like post Rampage stuff. So I feel like that is kind of where we're gonna head. So that's good, finally. But yeah, let's leave this alone there. FTW title match: Hook defeats Angelo Parker. After the match, Matt Menard beat up Hook. And Action Bronson made his debut and made the save. I was really hoping he was about to do a German suplex on either Matt Menard or Angelo Parker. Didn't quite get there, but definitely bounced their levels of energy from Action Bronson. What do you think of this 3-minute match?
It was exactly what I expected.
Mm-hmm.
Got the job done. Hook won. That's it.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm not going to stress a lot on the matches that I just don't care about.
That's fair. It's a sub 5-minute match. We can't talk about it too long. It was a fine, again, another fine match. Hook isn't bad. Angelo Parker's not bad.
It was a pre-show match.
What are you going to get? AEW All Atlantic title match, Pac versus Kip Sabian. Now, this is the first time we've seen Kip Sabian since 2020. Well, we've seen him kind of. But the first time we've seen him in AEW in a ring is since 2020. It's been a very long time since we've seen Kip Sabian in the ring proper. Sorry, not 2020, 2021. But it was in Daly's place, of all places. It was
longer.
If you can believe it. It was basically a month and a half. A year and a half.
Video game match?
The video game match, yeah. That was a year and a half ago when we saw Kip Sabian. So this was his first match back against Pac. What did you think of this match?
I thought this was it was fine. Like, I thought it was probably Pac's best defense so far. I've watched them all. I've watched all the what ended up being dark special matches in a sense, against LJ Cleary and other people I don't know. I thought it was the best one, but like, I'm someone who, when I watched Kip Sabian back then, was never really like, oh wow, this guy deserves a push. This guy's, super, super duper talented. He's fine. The match ended, and I'm going to be honest with everybody. I said, okay, have fun back on Dark. Like, it's very weird that he's still here, if that makes sense.
Yeah, we kind of talked about it when we were previewing the show, is that Kip Sabian kind of needs a really good match. And it's very obvious that he is doing shtick that is, Perry Saturn, right? Perry Saturn and the mop, or what's the guy with the plastic head? Maybe not Perry Saturn and the mop, because that was more of a love angle, I guess. Who was the plastic guy with the head? Al Snow. Kind of an Al Snow gimmick, a little bit updated for a modern age, I guess. Kind of like my brain is all busted, I guess, because I'm overrated, underappreciated, or whatever. I wasn't too into it. I can see a group of people being into this down the road, but ultimately right now, I don't know, man. I really need you to reinvent yourself in a good way, and you reinvented yourself in a way that is just like, it's interesting, maybe, I guess.
Is it? Like, I think it's really boring. Like, his reinvention to me isn't all that reinventing. It's just Kip Sabian that wears box on his head.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I'm excited for Pac and Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, me too.
Because I actually loved their match whenever they had it long ago. And I think they sold it well throughout the night, actually. So I'm looking forward to that one. Yeah,
no, I am too. I think that should be a better, well-received match. Because the last one...
It's about time, Pac. It's a match of meaning.
I agree. Speaking of matches with meaning, Eddie Kingston versus Tomohiro Ishii. Holy shit, what a match. What a transition, what a match.
So they watched. They didn't watch Walter versus Sheamus, but they pretty much were just like the sequel to it.
100%.
Where they just literally chopped each other for the entire time. Then they tossed the moves in at the end. But it was a great match. One of the best pre-show matches you'll ever see. I think that goes without doubt. And now there's reason for a third match between these two, which is always exciting. Great stuff. This was one of the 4 matches I really enjoyed from the show. So good stuff.
Yeah, if Wrestle Kingdom was multiple nights, 100% have this at Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah.
Now that's one night, I'm not so sure, but
Ishii's ready for Rambo.
Yeah, no, he's this was great. This was a really great match. The match itself was how long? 13 minutes and 27 seconds. I would reckon maybe for the first 10 minutes, Eddie Kingston's only offensive moves were chops and elbows. I don't think he did another offensive move in all those. Now Ishii did other stuff, but just his chest, it looked like we're Cody in the Hell in a Cell after a while with that Ishii's chest. It was so bad,
yeah.
blood vessels bursting. Oh, holy shit!
It was disgusting.
It was exactly what I wanted.
It was fantastic stuff. It was it was exactly what I expected. I think my only critique is that I wish it had more meaning.
Yeah, no, I get you. It was
I feel like the first one had meaning, right? With the I want to, you were taught by who you were taught by, and I want to go down the King's Road, and this one was just kind of like, hey, let's just put this promo quickly together, and they already had a match. We're just tossing this on the pre-show, which is fine. I'm happy we got it in the first place, but I definitely like the first one more. But I thought this was great. Right? Does that make sense?
No, I agree. I totally agree. I think, yeah, I mean, it was a great match, but I think there was definitely that like element of something lacking, where it was
more so like Suzuki and Danielson,
which
except it wasn't a first time ever type thing.
Yes.
So
it
didn't have that extra effect.
Or conversely, like you kind of compared it to Gunta and Sheamus, was a hard-hitting brawl, but then had an unexpected level of psychology. Here,
right.
If it had
just beat the snot out of
here, if it had psychology, I didn't pick up on it. So maybe that's on me.
There was no psychology. It was an Ishii match.
Yeah.
This was an Ishii.
This was a really good G1 climax match. This is a great G1 climax Ishii match.
That's very much what it was. Yeah.
Which I'm not complaining. Very good.
No. Again, it was one of the 4 like great to fantastic matches on the show, in my opinion.
I agree. Great. Now that 0 hours over, let's go back to CM Punk. Do you want some more juice? Ready? Strap in, folks.
So I'm already gonna say it.
Yeah.
I think he's half working. And I said this earlier, but the more that I'm reading this, like some people say this is absolutely not a work. I think the stuff on Colt and Hangman, probably not, right?
Yeah.
Like that seems very serious. It feels very specific, but now so what I'm seeing is he went on to the Elite, obviously. And he also talked about MJF and how MJF doesn't want to be there.
Yes.
I think both of those are working. Because a lot of people said instantly, oh, so they're going to do Punk and FTR versus the Elite. Very possible. Very possible to set that up after the MJF stuff, probably. I could see that. I could see MJF. And the MJF stuff is all work. It's all work. Oh, he doesn't want to be here. Yes, that's literally the entire story that we're doing. But to me, it's a little half and half, to the point where the line is now blurred, and that's what makes it so exciting.
Yeah, I think you also need to keep in context what Tony Khan said on Wrestling Observer, the Q&A, right? What he said there was how he thinks that a lot of money is in ex-WWE people versus AEW originals. We saw that tonight with a couple of matches, right? We saw that tonight. Oh my God, my cat is trying to sit on a soundboard. Get out of here, man. Get out of here. This show is chaos. CM Punk is derailing us. There's a cat in the way. He's knocking over everything. Get out of here, bud.
All right, so I'll go over some of the stuff that I'm catching up on now.
Just real quickly, so Tony Khan said that like there's definitely like money in that idea. With that being said, go ahead. What is Punk complaining about with the AEW originals?
Yeah, well, I'm just following John Alba here, and he kind of put it all together. So, like you said, the jeopardized Hangman with the EVPs. It's still the information about Scott Colton, who he continues to call by Scott Colton.
Yep.
He said, like you said, they offered the money. He turned it down. Says MJF set up as challenger for CM Punk regardless of the circumstances. CM Punk says the EVPs are stepping on their own dick. CM Punk says he wore Danhausen's boots tonight because his foot is still not totally back to normal. That's interesting. Says he believes the place he works he believes in the place he works and they have a lot of talent. He says he still believes in 5 years AEW will be on course as he felt a year ago, but says there's still a lot of drama and hopes they work through it. Says he hopes Adam Cole stays healthy. That's interesting.
Yeah. Some other bits I'm reading here are that
talking about his injury. Oh, he says Scott Colton doesn't deserve for him to say his name.
Jesus Christ. Jesus.
And now it's Swerve and Keith Lee next, which will be probably pretty plain.
According to Trevor Dame at Trevor Dame, he says that Punk is so fucking mad that people are asking questions. The people that are asking questions are audibly nervous and scared. And then I promptly had to apologize to a question asker. Punk says he's tired of. So this is actually very interesting. Punk says he's tired of working these pricks. Earlier, he talked about Tony keep matching him up with people that he hates. Punk says that grass is not green on the other side. The grass is greener where you water it, and MJF shits on it. Punk also expressed anger at people in AEW who did not want to look for advice from vets. Quote, our locker room, for all the wisdom and brilliance it has, isn't worth shit when you have an empty-headed idiot who's never done anything in the business do public interviews and say, well, I don't really take advice. Who the fuck do you think you are? Don't know who that is.
That's work. I think it's MJF, right?
I think
MJF said that. I
don't recall, but I'll take your word for it. Yeah, he does praise Adam Cole, calls him a sweetheart. He says
interesting. That's interesting.
He says that his injury, foot injury, was really bad. He's, like he said in the promo, he's at 100%, but a new 100. Apparently he's mad at Brian Alvarez for something.
So I read someone said that no one's asking like good follow-up questions to any of this
because they're scared, right? That's the
terrified.
Idea. Yeah, like, no, go ahead.
Why? So for me, I think I understand like why the media would ask about Colt Cabana, but at the same time, that's a very personal subject that they've kept quiet for a reason, right?
Yep.
No one talks about it. End of story. So I think it was a question not worth bringing up.
I mean, that is something that
but you knew the answer when you asked it.
I know.
That's the problem. People should be asking questions for me. They should have went about MJF, maybe about Hangman Page. I think that's different.
Mm-hmm.
But we've known the Colt Cabana stuff and that they're not friends for a long time.
Yeah.
For me, I think that question was just not worth asking. And that's what sent him off. So, like, at that point, he doesn't want to talk.
Which, to be fair, is true, but also at the same time, that is also something that wrestling media has a tough time doing, which is following up on questions or things that the wrestler has said. Everyone comes in with a question that they want to say, but when something interesting happens in the presser, like we talked about, we didn't really get to talk about too much in the Ring Post Radio, but one of the things from the TK media call, right, was him alluding to WWE, getting involved in his roster, right, and asking, hey, you should get out of your contract and contract tampering and all this stuff, and said that he won't talk about it unless someone asks about it. No one asked about it. It's one of those things that like wrestling media has a tough time doing, which is, I'm sure your question's interesting, but if new news just broke in this instance, you got to drop your question and you got to ask the new thing. I get being scared of Punk in this moment. I didn't watch that video, but I'm sure it's terrifying. But it is this idea of like
I see the video.
We got to do a better job of that. Yeah, we got to do a better job of that.
Yeah. He finished up by saying the two people that made the most money off of him were Scott Colton and Vince McMahon, which is very funny. And then he walked off. He was done. So, like you said, there's so many other things to bring up.
Yeah.
And I really think they wasted their shot of talking with CM Punk, the guy that just won the world title, has MJF as a challenger. There's just so whatever.
I wonder
Whatever.
how much. I wonder how much of that was CM Punk wanting to get something off of his chest.
Probably.
Like it's CM Punk. We all know CM Punk and is what he wants to do. He did a whole podcast where he wanted to get something off his chest. Um, so I wonder how much of it was he didn't want to say anything for a long time, and then he was asked that question. It set him off, and then he unloaded what he was carrying with him. Right.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Now up are apparently Swerve and Keith Lee, so I'm sure that will be much more much more calm.
Chill.
Much more
yeah, I guess we could talk about the show now.
Yeah, let's talk about the actual All Out pay-per-view. We don't have attendance numbers or anything. I don't believe they didn't. I have to look that up. But yeah, no, All Out in the Now Arena. Like we said, I think both of us kind of agree. What would you grade this pay-per-view? I would maybe be like a B- for me.
So like the highs are really high,
Mm-hmm.
and the lows are really low. So like that's the problem. Like there were 3 matches on the main card I really enjoyed out of 11.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I go B because I thought they were really good, and the surprise at the end, which wasn't kind of a surprise, but it was perfectly executed despite the ladder match feeling like a wet fart because it all came back.
Yeah.
I see some people saying they should have saved it for Wednesday. Absolutely should not have saved that for Wednesday.
No.
So, and like some matches were like fine.
Mm-hmm.
I like certain things they did. They listened to exactly what I wanted in the women's match. So like, yeah, I'll go with B minus possible, but I'll go with B for that.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, let's start off with the casino ladder match. Of course, it was Andrade, Claudio Castagnoli, Dante Martin, Penta El Zero, Miedo, Ray Phoenix, Roosh, and Wheeler Yuta all getting their asses kicked by Stokely Hathaway's seemingly new faction. Out came the Joker in a devil mask to Sympathy for the Devil by the Rolling Stones. I'm sure that cost a lot of money. And then Stokely handed the poker chip to the devil, which we later found out was MJF. You talked about it being a wet fart for you. Talk about me in real time. What do you think about the match before the Joker came out, and then how much of that changed for you once MJF walked out?
I thought the ladder match was really entertaining. You know, it was a ladder match with the guys involved. You kind of expected it to be kind of crazy. I think also part of the problem for me with this ladder match is it felt like it still had another 5-10 minutes, and it just obviously it stopped because you had the Stokely Hathaway attack. So here's the reason it felt like a wet fart originally. Is because you have Stokely go out there, you have him take it down, and then they're revealing all the guys involved, and it's like, oh, this is the group. Wow. Like Ethan Page, the Guns. I like Lee Moriarty. And
Lee Moriarty with that fresh ass orange Frank Ocean haircut.
Like, it was weird. And then like you have the guy walk out right with the song, and then you're kind of sitting there like, oh, is he gonna reveal who himself is? And you saw the MJF walk, so you kind of knew, at least I knew instantly. And then you just kind of sit there like, all right, well, I guess we'll wait and see.
Yeah.
But the reason it was a wet fart is because the crowd got so quiet waiting and waiting and waiting, and then they didn't do the reveal, and then they just moved on. Like, that's why I felt like a wet fart. Now that we got the reveal at the end and the way they executed it, it does make it better. It does make it better. But at the time, and that's how I have to grade this ultimately, is because that's when I was watching it, it did hurt the match. It did. That's what it did, because the match was very entertaining before that.
Yeah, I thought the match itself was very good.
It's a ladder match.
Yeah, it was very good. Some awkward stuff with the Claudio Andrade bit was, I think, awkward and messed up somehow. I don't know what it was supposed to be.
Oh, big time.
But Pentagon and Phoenix doing their lucha crap through a table I thought that was really well done. And then I understand why you say it became a wet fart. For me, I was like, oh, it wasn't. I don't think it definitely dropped the match. It didn't become a wet fart for me, but it was definitely like, well, this is interesting. It's definitely very angle-y, but ultimately it is what it is. It was something different of the however many casino ladder match royal whatever nonsense we get. It was certainly something different. I didn't hate it per se, but it was definitely something I wasn't 100% jazzed at. Of course, I would have loved to see that. At the same time, now, Scotty, I could see an argument saying that this was a way to try to deter cheers for MJF's return, right? Imagine if it was MJF that just straight up came out, right?
Sure.
And that was just that. He would have been cheered out the door and he would have won and everyone would be like losing their minds, right? Instead we get, the voicemails and the flashbacks to CM Punk promos and all that stuff. So I think what it ended up being as an execution worked better than we had to eat this sort of crap to get a better meal at the end of it, rather than just a subpar meal, if that makes sense at all.
I agree to that. I agree to that for sure.
Not a real analogy by any sense of the imagination.
What you're saying is it worked out at the end. Which I agree with. Yeah. I mean, we can move on. But I think you touched on it perfectly in the sense that it works out all in the end. It's just like remembering in the moment. It was like, oh,
yeah,
that stunk.
AEW World Trios Title Tournament Final Match. It was Kenny Omega, Matt Jackson, and Nick Jackson defeated the team of Alex Reynolds and John Silver and Adam Page to become the first ever AEW World Trios Champions. I thought that, for me, match of the night, easy match of the night.
Yeah,
I thought the work here was really, really great. I thought the storytelling was really great. We didn't necessarily get the Adam Page stalling. It was just sort of, he looked over. It was like
the way they did it.
Yeah. He was still trying to hit Kenny Omega, but it wasn't like he stalled or second guessed himself. He was ready to do it. It was just like he looked down at Matt Jackson. I was like, bro, get out of my way. And then Matt stopped him and all that stuff. I love the young buckshot lariat. I thought that was good from Nick Jackson. And I loved the finish of this match. I love the finish of the match. I loved Adam Page going for Kenny Omega with John Silver holding him, Kenny Omega ducking him, knocking John Silver's jaw off of his head.
It was perfect. And
then the Young Bucks coming in immediately shoving Adam Page out of the way and Kenny Omega pinning Silver. Great stuff there. It was reminiscent of their tag titles, right? Buckshot Lariat, Omega pins him. So that was beautiful. I thought that was wonderfully done.
For me, the only way this wouldn't have been the match of the night is if the other match I really loved that I'm not going back to rewatch had the right winner.
Yeah.
Right? Which, can hurt a match a little bit because this match had the right winner and this match was executed perfectly. No other trios match in this tournament had as good a story, and I don't think anyone expected it to have as good a story because of the Elite and Hangman Page. And it was interesting for me because, you start off the match with Hangman in the ring, and he's fighting Nick Jackson like it's just another normal match. And I thought that was interesting to do that because, they didn't do the over dramatized stare down at first with them and be like, oh my God, they're teaming together. Also, by the way, Kenny's entrance was once again phenomenal. Kevin Nash's favorite wrestler. Big pop for that. And also probably Will Ospreay's. That was just great stuff. Also, when Kenny walked out, I said, oh, this guy couldn't be more back. I think I tweeted that actually.
Yeah.
Which is very funny. He couldn't be more back. And I think every, and this might sound insane to some people, every single match he's had back is like for me, a match guide match
I'm glad you brought that up. I
because
am so glad you brought that up.
he's so fucking good.
Yeah.
But we also have to remember he has the best tag team in the world right next to him. So it's like, even if he wasn't 100%, which he very much is, if you didn't get the idea in this match, he hasn't been this good since he fought Okada. That's what it feels like. He was never this consistent and this clean and this just great in AEW. He has some great matches.
Let's say maybe the Danielson match. Maybe.
Yeah, I would agree to that. But that's also like, adrenaline is a crazy thing. And like the idea of that match kicking off that show in the Grand Slam, Danielson's first match, it almost like he almost had to be perfect.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah.
And the rematch will be amazing whenever it happens. So I'll agree to that. That's still his best match in AEW.
Yeah.
I think personally. I also like the Pac match. The Iron Man. The Iron Man was really good. From many eons ago, for those who may not forget.
Yep.
But Kenny Omega, like he is going to be, if this somehow continues, which I don't know if it can.
It's a good streak.
But he could somehow get his ass into Wrestler of the Year conversation if every match he has, which he's shooting 100% for me so far, is that great, right? Like he started off with who they fight, Los Ingobernables.
Yep.
Fantastic stuff there. You and me talked about the Ospreay match today.
Yep.
And then you go into this match with the story, and like you said, the finish was perfection. But I'll take it one step further. The closing sequence of that match was perfection, with John Silver getting the nearest of near falls on Kenny Omega, not once but twice. When he rolled him up off of the One-Winged Angel, I actually thought they won. Like it was a brilliant match.
And you know also why you've probably thought they won? Because that is how they won both of their matches, with a roll up.
Right.
In
right.
the tournament. They
exactly.
won both of it with roll ups.
They built it up perfectly. And listen, I think I'm still gonna probably prefer the Ospreay Omega match. I call it them because no offense to Aussie Open and Young Bucks, but it was all about them going into that. That's probably still my favorite match of the tournament.
Yeah.
But the story in this one carried it so much that it was so close, and it was a great final. These trio belts are like the best thing to happen to this damn company, because now you have great matches every time they're defended. You have the elitist champions. Kenny Omega, again, couldn't be more back. This was my match of the night. I thought it was just outstanding stuff. John Silver and Alex Reynolds were great in their roles. I want to give them credit. The Young Bucks are the tag team of the year. I don't want to hear your FTR bullshit anymore.
Really?
And Hangman,
you're shoving FTR all the way to the side already?
Yeah, I mean, the Young Bucks may not have a 5-star match this year, but they just have consistency up the wazoo. I watched 2 trios matches tonight that one involved the Young Bucks and one involved FTR. The team that FTR went against was the Motor City Machine Guns. The team the Young Bucks went against was John Silver and Alex Reynolds,
the Beaver Boys,
and they cleared it by a lot. So yeah, I'm going to kick FTR to the side.
It definitely had the sort of what's the word? I forget what I was going to say. Go ahead. Interrupt you. I forgot what I was going to say.
Kenny's Terminator dive,
a
thing of beauty. Everything he did was a thing of beauty. Hangman Page felt more important in this match than he has since he lost the AEW World Title.
Yep, I agree with that.
I think this was everything they could have asked for. I really do. I think they hit on all cylinders.
Yeah.
This was the best this match was going to be. Unless like Hangman brought in, no offense to the Beaver Boys, but an even better team. But it worked perfectly because he screwed them in the end.
Yeah.
He didn't want to be in this tournament. He didn't want to be involved. He just wanted to cheer the Dark Order on. And in the end, he's the reason they lost.
Mm-hmm.
Perfectly done.
Yeah, it was perfectly done. Not just like the ending being the also cause of it, but I would 100% say that there was a point in the match where he was willing to fight the Elite by himself, seemingly. At the very beginning of the match, I felt that very strongly come across. The match is fantastic. The finish was fantastic. It's unbelievable. I'm glad you brought up like Wrestler of the Year talk because one, I wonder, I mean, do we, you're saying Young Bucks is tag team of the year, but all the really great stuff recently has been trios matches, but do we consider trios a tag team? So tag team of the year for me would be a conversation between FTR and the Elite as a tag team, right? The New Day can be tag team, so maybe that's the conversation that we should be having. And I looked at this today, so I obviously have Kenny Omega for me has 4+ star matches since in a month. So in a month, he went from obviously not rated to 22nd of my year's ranking so far, which is
incredible, man.
Tied with Julia.
That's crazy.
That's
crazy.
That is how much of a difference a month has been for this guy, and it is unbelievable.
He is as good as it gets.
Yeah.
He never go away again, Kenny.
No. He's
well, unless you have to get yourself fixed, which clearly was the best thing you could have done, because now you are as good. It just feels like you're Kenny again. 38 years old, you get so much left in the tank. These trios belts are just everything, man. They're the best.
I agree.
They're now my favorite belts in the company by this many.
I'm going to swerve real quickly into the press conference real quick with Swerve and Keith Lee at the stand. Okay, I don't know why I said that.
Juicy.
Let's see. So they talk about their tension as if it was real. Someone asked Tony Khan if he considered calling an audible during the tag team match. Tony says he will answer that later, but he wants just questions for Swerve and Lee now. Tony calls the tag team match tonight one of the best pay-per-view tag matches AEW has ever had. Tony teases an Acclaimed versus Swerve and Glory rematch at 4 Grand Slam. Hypothetically, he thinks it would be a great one to book. So it looks like we're probably going to get one.
I have many thoughts about that match too.
Swerve and Glory is full on character promo mode, hyping a future match. Swerve dropping F-bombs. Lee tells the Acclaim to get rid of the stereotypes. Swerve tells him to get rid of Billy Gunn. Swerve also points out this match had 4 African Americans in the ring and an African American referee. Says they're going to keep making history, and then they promptly hug Tony Khan afterwards. You always got to get that shot in there. You got to get that meme of. I feel like Tony Khan hugging his talent is the Triple H pointing to the talent of this generation, and I appreciate it. Moving on to the next match in the pay-per-view, we have the AEW TBS title match. Jade Cargill, wearing green because she's all money, defeating Athena.
She was She-Hulk and was sick.
I tweeted out that it was what she was the culmination of what everyone was pissed about last week, that post-credits bit. Like, it was like she was basically if She-Hulk and Megan Thee Stallion had a baby, it would be Jade Cargill in that exact moment. But yes, what did you think of this? Was a 4-minute match, very short. I saw somewhere that Sean Ross Sapp said that they went under their allotted time. What did you think of this
people
match?
Jumping out of the goddamn chairs for this one.
Mm-hmm.
Saw some people like, wow, don't let anyone tell you it wasn't great. It was great. It was blah, blah, blah. I thought the beginning was great.
Mm-hmm.
that kind of fell apart after that, and then the match was over.
Yeah.
And Athena just got killed.
Yeah.
Like it was nothing.
Yeah, she definitely got killed like it was nothing.
I think it's still probably one of Jade's best defenses, truthfully. Not that there's a long list of greatness there. But weird.
Yeah.
Weird is the word.
Definitely, I feel like Athena was under the I think actually Athena for school went to the John Cena school of calling matches because she was super loud during this match, and that kind of obviously took away some of the bits, I think, for me personally. But ultimately,
Layla Gray though, that was pretty cool.
That was really good. The springboard into a kick from Jade Cargill looked really good. There was a lot of stuff that looked really good. There was some stuff that just didn't really connect to me, and I think the talking during the match wasn't helpful. But ultimately, 4-minute match didn't hurt anybody.
Yeah, like for me, this is probably on the same levels of enjoyment of the Danielson Jericho match, which says a lot.
That does. That's a loaded answer right there.
That's a loaded answer that we will get into.
6-man tag team match. FTR and Wardlow defeated the team of Jay Lethal and the Motor City Machine Guns, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin. I thought this match was okay. I thought it was fine. It was what it was. I think
TV match.
It was this is a great point that you're having right now. From the AEW TBS title to, the next 3 matches here, all TV matches, right? And then we get the World Tag Team title, which would be like a great main event TV match, and then we get like 4 more TV matches. I feel like it was a disappointment for me, to say the least, about this match. Ultimately, I think, though, that the match is whatever, but I think the more interesting news, the more heartwarming bits, is that at the end of it, we had a very good heartwarming moment between Dax Harwood, his daughter, a busted-up Samoa Joe. Very heartwarming moment for all 3 of them to come together in the ring and beat up Sanjay Dutt. So
I thought the post match was fantastic. Just wonderful stuff there. Me and my friend made the joke. Oh, her name's Finley. She loves to fight. Samoa Joe, always pop for the Samoa Joe return. Anytime that man walks through the building. Happy he's back. He's been very missed. The match is fine. They teased a little bit of what FTR and Motor City Machine Guns could be. Shocker. It could be really good, but never to the point where you got excited about this match. It was, again, TV match. Not bad, not great, just fine.
Yeah. Does it make me excited for an FTR Motor City Machine Guns match? Maybe. They were good. Motor City Machine Guns were good in this match, certainly. But it just
Motor City Machine Guns playing heels is weird.
I think Chris Sabin playing a heel is weird. I think Alex Shelley is great.
Shelley does it all the time. But it's like
Alex Shelley can be a real good prick.
Watching them be heels is just weird to me because I'm like, when are the Motor City Machine Guns heels?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get that's fair. That's fair.
It's a match I won't remember. That's my best way to say it. I will forget this happened in a month.
That's I agreed. I can agree to that.
Wardlow looked great though.
Wardlow looked good. He beat up Jay
Also,
Lethal.
pop for Samoa Joe just running down to the ring and just headbutting Satnam Singh.
And then immediately breaking his face.
Hey, that's a Goldberg move.
Very good. I can't wait to see Samoa Joe tased, I guess. Or take out his son and say something to him or whatever. Next match.
I need to say something.
Oh, go.
Powerhouse.
West side, east side, all the sides, north sides.
New message.
What up, what up? It's Heather's cousin. You dated her in college, or maybe you were just in the same class. Anyway, I heard you bought a boat, my man. Let's hit the water. Oh, and Heather told me you always liked, snacks and stuff, so I could totally bring some chips.
When you get a boat, you also get new friends. Make sure Progressive's one of them, and get coverage today for as little as $100 a year.
Hey, also, I'm a little short on cash, so can you cover the chips? Thanks. I can see why Heather liked you.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Annual premium for basic liability policy not available in all states.
Don't miss Sleep Number's biggest sale of the year, where all smart beds are on sale. Right now, save 50% on the Sleep Number 360 limited edition smart bed. The bed's so smart, it senses your movements and automatically adjusts to keep you both comfortable all night long. So save 50% on the Sleep Number 360 limited edition smart bed today. Hurry, free delivery and special financing on all smart beds through Labor Day. Special financing subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. See sleepnumber.com for details.
The song goes? I don't know. Powerhouse Hobbs, Powerhouse, defeated Ricky Starks in 5 minutes and 12 seconds. An undoubtable, not an upset, that's not the word, a surprise finish. I don't think any of us saw a 5-minute match coming out of here. It was definitely sudden, definitely not expected, and it was great. I thought Hobbs and Starks looked good here, but obviously the internet wants to know, Scotty, is Starks officially buried?
No, not at all. I think Powerhouse Hobbs is just that guy. I think he's that guy. I think there's no question he's beating Wardlow. Mm-hmm. That's what I walked away from this. I was like, this man is ready to beat Wardlow at any time. The reason I like this so much is that they made that spine buster the most deadly move in this company, because Ricky got caught, he got hit by it, it was over. Just when he was firing up, right? Mm-hmm. Just when he was firing up. And I don't think it buries Ricky Starks. I think Ricky Starks now can have a story where he redeems himself and builds himself up. Like you said, the hint of Chris Jericho, that could be the feud that does it. Mm-hmm. It'll be interesting to see what they do, but I think Ricky will be fine. Most importantly, Powerhouse Hobbs got a much needed major win, because I feel like he's never had one. So yeah. And as Fight will report earlier today, he's in line for a big push. So yeah, it's time, baby.
I think this is Hobbs' biggest win of his career. Ricky Starks can lose here because he is eventually going to be put over by Chris Jericho, as I sort of talked about.
And here is my biggest thing to say about this. Ricky Starks had the FTW title. Brian Cage had the FTW title. Mm-hmm. Hook has the FTW title. Mm-hmm. Powerhouse Hobbs never got the title. He was just always there.
Yeah.
You needed to establish him one way or the other. Have him win big here. Easy money. Also, Sean Ross Sapp says there's already big heat backstage following the CM Punk news, and he'll be putting it on Fightful Select soon. So,
well, on that note,
wrestling, baby.
On that note, let's swerve back into the press conference with Toni Storm. Toni Storm says she loves the locker room. She fell in love with it on her first day here. She's the only person that doesn't have any problem with anyone in the locker room, apparently. Toni says the interim tag is not ideal. She is quoted as saying, Thunder Rosa says she's injured. Okay. So when she's not injured, so when she says she's not injured, she can come back and lose to me, and that will be the end of that. All right. All right.
All right.
Tony says he cannot ask for a more professional wrestler to be an interim men's champion than Moxley, and he feels the same way about Tony for the women. Tony,
does anyone remember how weird Toni Storm interviews are?
Yeah.
Like, anytime I feel like they put a microphone in front of her. Do you remember, like, the one where she was high as hell and did an interview, like, a few months ago? I don't know if you remember that, but she was high and she did, like, a high spots one or something.
Yeah.
That was nuts.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm not taking this at anything.
Well, now the Tony Khan says that He feels that she is a very professional person. So that's something. Tony points out how months ago she didn't even know she was going to have a job, and now she's AEW champion.
I don't think she was worried about getting a job.
Meltzer asked Tony who'd she like to wrestle. Dave, better questions, Dave. She says she wants another.
To be fair, I have no idea what I would ask Tony.
Fair enough. She wants another match of Hater. Says there's so many people she wants to work.
Agree.
Anna J is someone. Apparently, Tony Khan suggests Ty Conti and Red Velvet.
Yeah. Red Velvet's good.
Yeah.
My God, my conversation about this women's division was so correct earlier.
Yeah.
They don't have Sasha, Becky, or Bailey. They got Anna Jay and Ty Conti. Sorry, Mello.
Yes. Tony brings up Serena Deeb as well. Tony Storm then gets real excited about that. Says that's who she was trying to think of before, and she couldn't remember her. So that is pretty much it. Someone apparently also asked about WB contract tampering. Tony says he can't comment on it.
I'm gonna go insane, dude.
And then Jericho comes out. But before we get to Jericho, we'll get to the AEW World Tag Team title match to lift our spirits up with Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland defeating the team of Anthony Bowens and Max Caster. You and I both thought that this match was 100% going to Swerve in our glory. And boy, howdy, the crowd made us believe in the Acclaimed. And then the Acclaim did their jobs as professional wrestlers, and the crowd believed in them. They then proved to the crowd why you believed them, why everyone loves the Acclaimed, because that was a star-making performance from Anthony Bowens, from Max Caster, from Billy Gunn's new chant. It was a star-making performance. It was a slight heel turn, which was great. Love seeing that from Lee and Swerve. Great match.
So good in the heel role.
Mm-hmm.
I said, this might have been my match of the night if the Acclaimed won.
Yeah.
I think it completely transforms how you walk away from it if they win, obviously. But man, what a performance by these two teams. I think it's worth talking about. The Acclaim obviously stepped up. They showed out. They showed that they are ready. But Ryan, this is the best way to say it. The Acclaimed have arrived.
Someone should call them the Arrived.
Well, that's literally their whole thing is the Acclaimed have arrived. But, sorry. Anthony Bowens, I thought, was phenomenal in this match, working his with his knee and selling his knee, and Swerve is going to be a fantastic heel.
Yeah.
The moment they let him go, he was so good at it. And it was interesting to see Keith Lee in that role because we never get to see that. And it was heartbreaking. It was really heartbreaking. And this is coming from someone that didn't want Swerve and Keith Lee to lose. I didn't want them to lose at all. It was heartbreaking to see the Acclaim fall. But that's how good of a performance they had.
Yep.
The crowd, again, was fantastic for this match.
Yep.
And it's only the beginning for the Acclaim. They're going to have their run. They're going to get there. Could be as soon as the Grand Slam.
As Tony Khan
TK hinted at.
So I assume that will be happening at Grand Slam.
Yeah, he said it was a great spot. But just, fantastic stuff. I have to rewatch the main event, but this was class. Great job by both of them. Absolutely surpassed everyone's expectations, I'm sure.
100%. Do you think the Acclaim can maintain their cheerdom? That's not the word. Can maintain the hype they're on, the level they're on, for another couple of weeks to Grand Slam, and maybe that's when they switch the titles? Do you think that's when it happens? You got to keep that up. The new chant will help. The new chant will help.
Here's this is the thing about this story is
Mm-hmm.
that just running it back just to get the titles immediately on them
Mm-hmm.
is so weird to me.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you don't want to wait too long, but you also don't want to just like make it predictable and go right back to them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that's kind of the story for me. Because like here's my example, right? CM Punk just won the AEW World Title, and he's going to face MJF probably at Grand Slam. If that title change happens, it feels natural.
Mm-hmm.
If this one happens, it's like, oh well, we got it wrong the first time, so we just ran it back and you got it. I don't know if it works for me as much as it would have worked here, I think. And you don't want the Acclaim to cool down either, so that's the game you play too. But I don't know. I'm okay with Swerve and Our Glory being champions. Like, this is kind of what the conversation you and me were having earlier about Roman Reigns winning.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, sure. Would have been great if they won because I think the moment really spoke to it.
Mm-hmm.
But long term, I almost think it's still better. The person that has the title is better, or in this case, the people.
You are right. You are right in saying that AEW did this, booked this wrong. How you should have properly done it, to appeal to a larger audience and appeal to those casual fans, is after the Acclaim lost, Billy Gunn should have come out, sung a Neil Diamond song for the crowd. Everyone sings along.
Right.
I think, and then of course the Acclaim be like, "Yep, that's." We know they're rappers, so not Neil Diamond. Maybe Billy Gunn sings like a Mos Def track, Notorious B.I.G., some sort of old school hip hop artist. I think that's the move, and that is how you get 6,000 fans, 60,000 fans. So it's a shame that they didn't do that because obviously that appeals to the casual fan base. So, in for a penny, in for a penny. You miss some, you lose some. TK.
I think I just keep swerving. Keep this shit.
Just keep swerving.
You had your shot. It's over.
I kind of agree. I think it might be a genie in a bottle situation. Now it's open. It's like, I don't know if you can get that magic back. We'll find out, I guess. We'll find out.
It's like if they had CM Punk lose tonight, you'd be like, yeah, don't go back to it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Right?
That's fair.
It's like, it's kind of, I know CM Punk had the first match too, but in a case, it's like the Drew thing. We just talked about it earlier. You're not going back to that match. Mm-hmm. You missed the window. It's over. Now, obviously, they were in the UK, so it was a little different. But I don't know. Like you said, in a bottle.
Yeah,
the bottle's bursted. You didn't open it in time. It's over.
Yeah.
Move on.
I think it's possible to recreate that magic. I'm just unsure. AEW Interim World Women's Title 4-Way match. Toni Storm defeated Britt Baker, Hikaru Shida, and Jamie Hayter to become the Interim World Women's Champion.
They checked all my boxes, Ryan.
Did they? Did they check all of the boxes?
Toni Storm won.
They teased a box.
That's more than we've had. They teased the box.
We've had teases in the past.
Yeah, but this time Britt Baker cost Jamie Hayter the title.
Okay.
Legitimately cost her the title. She hit her Rainmaker clothesline finisher. She had the win. And Hikaru Shida looked good. So, Hikaru Shida looked good wrestling. Hikaru Shida actually always looks good. Anyways, moving on.
Nice save.
Thank you. The match suffered from following the Acclaim match.
It did. 100%.
I thought it was pretty good. Nothing bad. Mm-hmm. Like a solid women's title match.
I like the tag match more. Personally. Sorry, what? Not the tag match. I like the women's tag match from Dynamite more than this 4-way.
Okay.
But sure. Yes, it was still good.
Whatever. I'm so confused for a second. I was like, yeah, I like the tag match that was right before this one too.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm sorry about that.
But yeah, no, I thought it worked well. They had me thinking Britt Baker won on multiple occasions, which I was about to break a TV. Mm-hmm. Jamie Hayter was the most over person in the match. So, like, maybe we should call another audible, right? But I think they can work. The difference between the Acclaim and Jamie Hayter's, I don't think Jamie Hayter's in a bottle. I think Jamie Hayter's someone you can work up naturally. Like she was just in this match because did she get pinned?
Jamie Hayter?
Yeah, I think she got pinned.
I believe it was Jamie Hayter. I gotta go back and check, but I believe it was.
So to me, I thought she was in this match to get pinned, but they added the Britt Baker part in. It worked out. Cool beans. Moving on. Toni Storm was always supposed to win. My question for you is: are you excited for the Toni Storm interim AEW Women's Championship reign?
Yeah, I think I am. I don't know. I think it really depends on what they do with Britt. Like, if they do actual story stuff with Toni, I could be interested in that. I'm not confident in how they view her as a talker. Because like you said, she's not a great talker. She did, the only stuff she's done is all pre-tape stuff, and even in some of them she wasn't talking. So I'm slightly concerned about that. But the matches have been good. She has gotten a lot better since when she first came in here. Remember that first match she had? It was dreadful.
I don't remember it. Oh, it's the bunny?
It was the bunny.
Well, I mean, what did you want from her?
That's fair. But this was definitely, she's
looked better and better.
She's gotten better. If they move Britt into the TBS title division, I think that would be great. I think that'd be a great move. Give Toni some space. Give her some room.
Yeah, get Britt out of the way. I get that.
Yeah, I think that's because Britt might bog down the whole thing. So I think just give Toni some room to breathe and let's see what we got here. Do a Serena Deeb match, do an Anna Jay match, I guess, do a Nyla Rose match. Nyla Rose would be the next match. Honestly, we all know this.
Of course.
So yeah, I think that I'm fine with it. I guess I don't know if I'm necessarily excited, but
rid of this interimship. This has to be the last interim champion they ever have. Has to be. I think it's terrible for your booking. Now it feels like you're going to be a stalling period until Thunder Rosa can come back. I don't like it. I didn't like it for the men's. I don't like it for this. Obviously, yes. Did I want CM Punk to be champion longer? Yeah, but it didn't matter. So just get rid of it.
Yeah,
please.
I did. I'm also just thinking about the press conference comments about Toni Storm saying that Thunder Rosa says she's injured, and when she's willing to come back, she says she's willing to come back, and then Tony Khan following up saying that John Moxley was very professional. He's very excited to have a very professional worker like Toni Storm. I'm just thinking now about maybe TK did like Thunder Rosa ultimately. I'm starting to get that impression a lot.
That's what I have felt.
We're really picking up on that now. So I'm interested about that part, but we'll see. Let's swerve back into the press conference real quick. We have Chris Jericho on the horn. He says that he really enjoyed his match with Danielson and reminded him of his matches with Eddie, Chris, and Dean. Says there are just few guys today you can wrestle match just entirely called in the ring with. So there's maybe an answer why the match wasn't as good.
An answer of why I wish I took a nap instead.
Nick Hausman.
You had the worst big Bryan Danielson match by a sizable margin.
Yes. Nick Hausman from Wrestling Inc. asks what Jericho said at the talent meeting. Good questions. I'm loving it. Good questions. Jericho said
happy we saved them all for Chris fucking Jericho.
Yeah. Jericho says one of the things we don't leak shit. He wants to remind guys to appreciate where they are, don't ruin it. Tony says he doesn't want guys going to business for themselves or girls. Jericho agrees, says Vince wouldn't let it happen. Says they used to have meetings like that in the past, but now they're just a little more frequent. Jericho calls Danielson 1 in a million. It was Moxley's idea to do the Lionheart gimmick for Chris Jericho. Jericho says when he loses a match, it's a great match. When he wins a match, people say 51-year-old Jericho is burying the young guys.
I didn't say that about this. I just didn't understand.
It just said it was boring.
Where this booking is going.
Jericho says this could be his best year of his career in terms of star ratings. Tony
Jericho, listen, buddy.
Yeah, Tony Khan is
we'll
talking
get to
about
it
ECW. Jericho asked about MJF's return. Jericho loved it. Jericho's shocked they got the Stones. Jericho says in the past they asked for Van Halen and it cost $1 million, so they said no. They also tried to get AC/DC.
That's not real.
And that was it.
No, this isn't real.
What's not real?
I don't know if this is a direct quote. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm at the Tony Khan portion of the interview. So we want to talk about just Tony Khan's thoughts real quick?
So supposedly Tony...
I'll say this while you're putting that together. Question for Tony about Malachi Black's off-air bow and kiss to the fans. Tony says he can't comment on it. It was for the live fans. It definitely got some people talking.
All right, well, here's something. Fightful reported earlier, we're told there were discussions and rumors of a top star in AEW taking some time off after tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like it could be Malachi.
I think that's the implication from that bow. I also think it's not a surprise. We talked about it today that we weren't going to kind of go into it. It seems like it might be some sort of mental health thing. So I think if that's the case, that's definitely a respect move that we kind of have to respect what is happening there. Give him some time. I think that's totally okay. There's another question about Tony's recent comment about how he was treated by WWE. He says he doesn't want to get into it. He says that says a lot of nice things about them, and he hasn't felt it reciprocated. All right. Someone asked about locker room tension. Tony smiles and motions to the table like, did you just see Punk tonight? Tony going through what he told Meltzer on his site about how a lot of wrestlers hate each other during the last boom. It's Tony. Tony says it's probably more apparent than ever that not everyone gets along.
Hey, listen, chaos and controversy creates money.
Tony says he has a pretty calm demeanor and he puts up with a lot of abuse, but even he doesn't like some of the comments people out there hurl his way. Says there's only so much slamming of him that he can put up with. Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics asked about how this pay-per-view was selling. Tony does not have all the digital numbers, but there's a chance it'll be the second highest all-out pay-per-view ever. Obviously won't beat last year. So that's pretty good. Tony says last year was the only wrestling pay-per-view on Labor Day weekend. This year they were the third. He doesn't think that is a coincidence. Implies that is one of the things that pissed him off about WWE. It is true. Tony says if people want to bring the fight, he's happy to do so, and he has a lot of ways he can and a lot of money. Here we go, baby. Tony was hoping this would break the all-out record, but is happy how it did considering the competition. Tony estimates all-out revenue would be similar to Double or Nothing, higher than Forbidden Door. Oh my God, Tony just got mad? What the fuck? Tony says that he just got a treatment of how the Crockett's got treated, but he has way more fucking money than the Crockett's did. Tony clearly feels like he's being bullied and is getting pissed. Oh my God. What are you shooting over here, man? Someone asked if the EVP roles have changed. Tony doesn't. Praises their trios matches tonight and the work they do behind the scenes. Kenny off the game. Bucks mentoring people. Tony points out Kenny is the first AEW Triple Crown champion, singles, tag, and trios. And that looks like Tony thanks everyone he has done relatively early. So that's pretty much it. That's the presser. Right. That's the postman thoughts on any of those bits.
Jesus. All right. No, not really. I think we've reached a point now where it's like, just get on with it. I'm done with the backstage fights back and forth.
Yeah, we never talked about that. How do you obviously we've been talking about the drama, but how do you feel about like it being on the forefront of the storytelling in AEW right now?
Makes a more interesting show for me.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like everything feels just a tick more interesting. Probably why I went into All Out looking at the car and saying, "Oh, this should be great," right? Because everything just feels chaotic, but at the same time, it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think it creates a buzz by accident, if that makes sense. It creates an extra buzz by accident, and it makes each and every TV show, or at least Dynamite, must-see TV more than usual. Because I'm someone who has watched AEW from the start, much like yourself, much like many people that are listening to this.
Yeah.
And I was in and out for a while there at the beginning, like in terms of interest. I watched them all, but it was a sense of, okay, this is kind of working for me. And now that they have so many big names that want to be stars, it's going to lead to controversy. It's going to lead to conflict because everyone wants to be at the top. Isn't that the point at the end of the day? If you don't want to be at the top, get the fuck out. That's literally like what CM Punk says, Jericho says. If you don't want to be at the top, if you don't want to be world champion, and maybe that's old school thinking, but that's why controversy is okay. If that's what it's all about, being champion, being at the top, being the popular act, making the money, then so be it. Just keep putting on good shows, and that's how that's all going to happen.
Anyway, it was Christian Cage versus Jack Perry.
Fightful Select confirms that Christian Cage is injured.
Yes, which is why this match was so short. Fightful also confirmed that he is now going by Jungle Boy Jack Perry.
I like that. I've only wanted him to be Jungle Jack Perry or something with his real name for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm happy with that. It's a start. I think eventually he might just be Jack Perry. But
yeah. No, well, I think the idea is that he is just Jack Perry, but Jungle Boy is like the nickname of the wrestler.
Right.
You know how some wrestlers have nicknames?
Well, eventually he won't be a boy anymore. But yes.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Eventually it'll just be straight Jack Perry.
This was the most interested I've been in this feud since the very beginning of it.
Really? I'm fully out.
I figured as much.
Would you surprise me that it was because of Luchasaurus?
Well, yeah, I can't stand Luchasaurus, but the reason I say it's the most interested I've been is mostly because I haven't been interested at all. And a lot of it had to do with Luchasaurus to begin with. I don't mind the way they did it because we've been talking about the booking of Jungle Boy and how you're supposed to make him work, right? Because you've had him lose so many big matches. And I feel like this is almost a restart for him in a lot of ways. In a sense that now, one, he's got a new name. He's got a kind of a new identity type thing. He doesn't have to have his fucking dinosaur with him anymore.
Yeah.
Which I always thought was the biggest problem, is that he had to walk around with a stupid fake ass talentless dinosaur. And now he can just be himself.
Yeah.
Like, the best line he had this entire feud is, you're not fighting Jungle Boy on Sunday, you're fighting Jack Perry. He needs to be him. He doesn't need to be this. He doesn't need to be Tarzan. Okay? He doesn't need to be Mowgli from whatever the fuck this show's called. Jungle Book. He needs to be Jack Perry. Sure, he can keep the Jungle Boy nickname because that's what people call him.
Yeah.
And I don't care what his ring attire looks like. As long as he goes in there and wrestles and performs, that's fine. And if he has to now jump over the hoop of Luchasaurus, so be it. If Christian's hurt, just in the end, he has to win this feud, right? That's first and foremost, he has to win this feud. And now you kind of put heat on Christian that I didn't think he had, personally. I thought he only had cheap heat.
Yeah.
Now this feels like actual heat because he got the dinosaur to turn on him. Blah, blah, blah. So it reignited an idea of, okay, maybe you can make this work. Maybe you can make the thing that I thought was dead in the water eventually work. And I understand why you're out. I would understand why anyone's out because it's, again, with the dinosaur. But that's why I was out this whole time. It's because, like, I did not want him to be with Jungle Boy anymore. So that's the part I like long term. Hopefully the Jack Perry thing and him being long term, getting major wins. You know, he's still a ways away from winning a title or anything. But this is a much better reset to me than just being Jungle Boy and having his dinosaur by his side as after beating Christian. Because, like, I would have walked away and been like, oh, great. Now we're back to Jurassic Express.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Personally,
It's always the dinosaur's fault.
Part of it, I was super out of it because, you know, I took it as like we have, you know, I tweeted out, well, it's Luchasaurus. You know, I assumed that, you know, we're big showing Luchasaurus over here for some goddamn reason. We're just swapping him hither and thither about his turns. Apparently, the Twitter sleuths say that the story is that when he joined back up with Jungle Boy, he never touched Christian. He never changed his attire, all this other jazz. Right. Wasn't obvious to me. What was obvious to me was him turning again on Jungle Boy. So I wasn't into it. Immediate eye roll. Immediate eye roll.
No, I get that. Well, you also have like the feud with Jungle Boy already.
Yeah, and in the fact maybe now that he's Jack Perry, maybe we can start a relationship.
That's how I'm looking at it. It's a legitimate fresh start for him as a wrestler.
Now, in the same vein, though, we talked about how, you know, you're going to be not wrestling Jungle Boy and wrestling Jack Perry. A 33-second loss here, Jack Perry. Maybe you should have been Jungle Boy.
My hope now is that, right, he doesn't have his dinosaur anymore. He lost to Christian in 30 seconds because he got destroyed. Tried to fight, but he got destroyed. I like that they gave him the kick out. Like, I thought that was a little thing to do. But like, now you need a whole new look. I think you need a whole new feel. Yeah. And I guess we'll wait and see how that goes. But I feel better about it than I wanted the feud to end. And now, since I am not getting that, I have to look at it in a different way. And it's that if we can continue to bring him to Jack Perry and away from Jungle Boy, then that's the win.
I agree. Let's move on.
Fun little bit here.
Sure.
So when Sean Ross Sapp tweeted, there's some big heat already on CM Punk from his comments at the AEW post-rum. He added, after the fact, that we obviously have to be, so some people teased walking out, but he also added, in the end, we also have to be wary of it being a work, because that is how AEW works, right? You never sure. Denise Salcedo added, though, all I can say is that during the media scrum, we all saw a security guy run out the door.
That is true. AEW has been doing a lot of after the cameras are off, supposedly. After the television, the time slots are filmed and everything, they've been doing a lot of post-show angles and stuff. They did, Ospreay United Empire beating up Omega and the Elite. They did, I talked about the Ricky Starks versus Chris Jericho stuff, which was just like pictures. I don't think any video of that ever came out. Right. So they've been doing a lot of that stuff recently. This could be that. And knowing that the wrestling media is all there as well.
Like, Who threatened to walk out? Colt Cabana, let him go.
Was he even there?
Right, like
I mean, Adam Page, I guess maybe. I don't know.
Adam Page didn't threaten to walk out. He doesn't give a shit. Like they'll figure it out.
You know what's interesting?
They're gonna figure it out.
The end of the story is like either everyone being sick of CM Punk and leaving, like for real, or CM Punk leaving, right? Like that's like what's the win scenario for like the AEW originals? It's CM Punk quitting the company, right? Like that's weirdly how this story ends. I feel like
my take is that you poke the bear enough, he's gonna poke back eventually.
He poked back
right?
today. He poked back.
But you have to remember, Kenny made a comment. Remember, he made a comment a few weeks ago during his entrance or whatever, or his post match. He made a snide comment, and I'm sure they have conversations backstage. And you have to remember, wrestlers are also always working, and that's why I say some of this was probably real, some of this was also probably kayfabe. They've blurred the lines so much we don't know anything anymore, and that's really cool.
Yeah, this is kayfabe,
it makes wrestling
baby.
better. It makes wrestling better.
Yeah.
So I don't really give a shit. It's gonna leave us talking about it, which is cool, but like, good.
There's a certain point of the kayfabe. There's a certain point of the kayfabe at all where we have been like, examining with a fine-tooth comb and everything, wrestling, all this stuff. We're at the point where it's like shoot work era that we have no idea. That at a certain point, you and I think a lot of other people should definitely just throw our hands up and be like, I don't know. I'm just gonna watch it and see what plays out. I've never said this because I don't necessarily like saying this phrase, but I'm just gonna watch and see how it plays out at this point because there's so many weird things happening that I have no idea what's real, what's fake.
Yeah, you gotta hit him with the let it play out.
Fucking the guy that returned tonight, the last words he says when he called his boss a fucking mark. Right, and then was that voicemail real? I mean, is Tony Khan an actor? Does he get a SAG credit? Like, what is this? So these are all the questions you gotta ask. Next match, we have the last three matches here: Chris Jericho versus Bryan Danielson. We kind of already alluded to this already. An upsettingly bad match.
My best way to say it is boring.
Aggressively fine.
Right.
It was
aggressively fine. To me, there was nothing atrocious about it. There was nothing great about it. Nothing good about it. It was just fine in the sense that it was a wrestling match that happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I was shocked, honestly.
I don't know. I mean, obviously we were all expecting better, but it was just like, I mean, Chris Jericho did not look up to par. This was so boring.
No, it looked like he skipped back in time again.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of like to the time where we said get him off the TV. Yeah. Like, I don't know what happened. He had those great matches. He was having a great run. And it feels like just something happened.
Yeah, I don't know what happened in this match. Seemingly it was called in the ring, so maybe that's part of it.
And listen, we've gotten to a point where if you're wrestling Bryan Danielson, you have to meet him at his level or you're going to get walked over, and you could tell how much he carried this match to the end. Yeah, I mean, Bryan Danielson is one of the best, if not the best in the world for a reason.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it was just an absolute wet fart. I just want the feud to end.
6-man tag team
wet
match.
Fart in that I was upset because I thought it could have been good.
I agree. 6-man tag team match: Darby Allin, Miro, and Sting versus the House of Black.
That's what I said when this started. I was like, I don't care. Like, Sting's gonna do something cool, and that's it.
This is
all I look forward to.
This is 100% like the middle of the show of like a Quake by the Lake type event. You know, you book it and Sting on the show, right? In a 6-man tag, and it was just like, all right, that was good. That was it. I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know what it was about this stretch of matches that just like 4, 5, almost. I mean, we're taking out the AEW World Tag Team Title match, and then on your own accord, whether or not you want to keep in or take out the interim World Women's Title match, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6 to 7 matches that were just like, this is fine to like bad to like good to like just straight up boring and useless.
Yeah, I think like
that's more than that's almost half the show.
I think the Powerhouse Hobbs Ricky Starks match accomplished something.
I agree,
which is why I like the placement of it.
I agree.
Like, yeah, some of the matches did nothing. Like this one did nothing. And I kind of feel like House of Black was probably supposed to win. I hope. if Malachi isn't the guy that's leaving, then I'm going to be rattled. But I hope he gets the help that he needs. If that's the case, of course.
Yeah.
Like I said, Sting did cool stuff. And then Darby pinned Malachi, and the match was over.
Yeah. Yeah, it was interesting. It was interesting to see the least. I was obviously expecting a lot more. We did not get it. But what we did get was Sting using Mist, so that prompted me to get really excited about Sting versus Great Muta happening on Dynamite at Grand Slam. So can't wait for that. That's the dream. Main event, AEW World Title match. CM Punk defeats Jon Moxley in 20 minutes. This match was really good. I thought the shock almost win of CM Punk at the very beginning was very well done.
Yeah.
It was very believable, which was fantastic. I thought it was just good stuff all around here. What did you think of this match?
Yeah, it's the match I got to rewatch because, like I said, I was getting tired and I was just waiting for the end of it, which is kind of weird because I was so excited for it. But I think I also got taken out of it because of like what we were dealing with the matches before this. It was just a lot. But from what I remember, really good stuff as you'd expect from these two.
Yeah.
The story of CM Punk, We Are Chicago. I think someone made a great point of how, he was able to lift up Moxley with Chicago cheering him on at the end to get that win. I thought that was, fantastic storybook ending type stuff.
Yeah.
That just naturally happened. Jon Moxley has had a great year. Yeah. I'm really interested to see what he does now because obviously he was never supposed to be AEW World Champion. So now, like, does he get back on track to where he was originally going with? Because, like, as AEW World Champion, he kind of felt, for me at least, he always felt a little disconnected from the rest of the Blackpool Combat Club.
A little
except
bit.
For William Regal.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see him get back into it.
Yeah, because remember originally it was him and Danielson doing tag team stuff.
Right, and then they just had to go away from it, obviously. And Danielson's now kind of waiting now, so I would like if they went back to that.
The door's open. The door's open for them to team back up.
Sure. Danielson also came through the heel entranceway I noticed tonight. Just a little something because that does matter with this company. Yeah, I'm interested to see what happens because I think those two are like the two of the guys the most interested anyways.
Yeah.
And they both had results where it kind of leaves the door open for something new. I think.
I agree.
Though the Daniel Garcia story is interesting to me still.
Yeah.
I will say that. I'm wondering how that goes.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that we kind of talked about it earlier where it's just they have this idea where they can certainly go into a new direction now. We can separate from the Jericho Appreciation Society and separate themselves from Blackpool Combat Club. We can see what else they can do, finally go off and do something else that would be very much appreciated, despite being Dana Garcia and Wheeler Yuta showing up this Wednesday. This match was very good. I think I agree with you that the whole having Chicago on his shoulders. He's Punk is an all-time bleeder in this company, so having that bloody face, the hurt foot, the Chicago on his back and Moxley on his back, and fighting and digging deep and putting him away with the GTS. I thought that was a fantastic storybook ending. John Moxley, great reign. I think this reign might surprise you, but I thought it was better than his last reign.
No, I agree. Doesn't surprise me at all.
And then, of course, we ended with CM Punk and MJF stare down. So seemingly that's going to happen at Grand Slam.
Okay, I got to talk about this. The MJF video reveal was perfection.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was fantastic stuff with the Tony Khan voicemail.
Yeah.
Hey, like, get back here. I'm not going to extend you. I'll give you this amount of money. I'll let you be the Joker. And, it kind of made Tony Khan look like a snake in some ways, of he desperately made sure to get this guy back.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you how I thought it could have happened. I thought they were going to go an extra step and they were going to let him cash it in right then and there at one point, because I thought they were playing to the point of Tony Khan got so desperate to get this guy back that he essentially handed him the AEW World title. Now, that could still be the case. But ultimately, here's my take. I have been set on CM Punk winning this main event.
Yeah. Because
he deserves that AEW title run. MJF should be walking out of Grand Slam as AEW World Champion. Because if CM Punk beats him, I feel like you ruin everything you committed to over the past 3-4 months. You took him off TV while he is signed to a contract, while he works for you to sell an angle. And this was always going to be the All Out main event. I think we're all positive had CM Punk not got hurt. So you just got to kick it back a little. Does CM Punk get his full reign? No. But was he really going to get a full reign? Maybe a few defenses, but clearly he wasn't going to get that long of a reign. And I do think CM Punk does do well without the title. We saw it. He did well without the title forever. And now you have this big Grand Slam match. And the idea of MJF kind of taking the title hostage in a lot of ways is interesting to me. And then you can build up a savior, whoever that may be, to eventually take the belt from MJF. And assuming that's his faction now, I like him. I like Big Cass as his heavy.
Yep.
I keep forgetting W. Morrissey. I like Morrissey as his heavy.
Yep.
The Gun Club's annoying enough that it makes sense to be with MJF. Ethan Page is a weird one. For sure. I like Lee Moriarty.
Yeah.
Still a weird one. But it's going to be interesting. And I like him and Stokely. I think they'll be a lot of fun together. Because they've worked together, obviously. But in the end, all of this, they gave a surprise that worked really well. Showing the Ring of Honor footage, showing MJF. I just wish. I think I wanted even more from it, but it was still great. If that makes sense.
I agree. I think you're 100% right. I think MJF is totally winning the title at Grand Slam, in ending this CM Punk's second reign of being.
It would be wrong if he didn't.
100%. It would be wrong. It would not be correct to the storytelling. I mean, the story is right there for MJF to be the champion. I mean, even remember that voicemail. I mean, Tony Khan didn't say that he's renewing his contract or doing anything, special with his contract or anything, right? He said he's not giving him an extension and he's just going to give him the flat money, right? So, this is just part of it. So now MJF, I'll put you in the thing. Probably Tony Khan's character hoping that he loses, right? MJF wins. Okay, but now we have to have the match.
Not only did MJF win, he has a plan.
He has a plan to win. He hijacked hijacked the whole thing. Then MJF has to have the match at Grand Slam. MJF wins the match. Then it's
in New York.
Yes, in New York. MJF can probably seemingly run away through the crowd with the title belt. Maybe, I don't know.
Who had the closing chance of the show in Chicago, Illinois tonight?
MJF, baby, MJF. You know, it is. I don't necessarily know if this is a face turn or anything like that from MJF, but it is in New York.
He's still the AEW villain.
Correct. He is the supervillain of the whole show. Now on television, he has to remind people that he is the supervillain more. But yeah, he can easily take the whole show hostage, have all these contracted people just beat up everybody, and just have a supervillain army by his side. I never would have guessed Lee Moriarty, the Gun Club, Ethan Page, and W. Morrissey and Stokely Hathaway would be a part of that evil supervillain army. But but this is where we're at. This is where we are at with that. So
it's interesting.
It's interesting to say the least. I think you're right in saying that he has to win 100%. So we'll see where that goes, I guess.
And that's coming from someone that wanted CM Punk so desperately to get a real title reign. It would be wrong. I think I really do think MJF was doing some of the best work in wrestling before his long hiatus, like all of wrestling. In his matches, in his storytelling, in his promos, he has shown he's as complete a package as any, and I think he's re-signed, personally.
Yeah, me too.
I think they've struck gold the way they've handled this, because they turned the real life situation, I think, while again blurring the lines. We still don't know if it was real or not. He delivered that scathing, phenomenal promo that left everyone talking. Then he disappeared. Not to be heard from.
For 3 months.
For 3 months. That's commitment, right? 3 months of your career gone.
90 days.
Comes back with a Tony Khan voicemail saying, listen, I just needed to get you back, blah, blah, blah. Shows the CM Punk promo, which was, just kind of like insane to look at. You see him turn, take the mask off, put on the scarf.
Big pop.
I thought that was a beautiful touch, by the way.
Yeah.
Music hits. He walks out. Crowd's a little like they don't know how to react yet, because it's obviously MJF, and he's going in CM Punk's face. And then the cheers rain in. And just like that, you kind of sit there thinking, and in the end, this was always the guy. This was always the guy.
Yeah.
And now I can't wait to see what he does. That first promo, that's going to be a spike.
Yeah.
Because the moment they announce that MJF speaks, that's going to be locked on. I think you got to start at the show with that.
I agree.
MJF's talking. Yeah, you got a new world champion, sure. But everyone wants to hear MJF. Everyone wants to hear MJF talk, and I can't wait for it. But here, let me ask you, Ryan. What's your thoughts on this? He doesn't say a word until Grand Slam because he has Stokely Hathaway.
Just don't be on TV.
Why not?
I'll go that far. Don't be on TV until Grand Slam.
You got the manager. You have the manager who can talk the talk, obviously, with Stokely.
You can
have your goons do all the work.
You have Ethan Page who can also talk, right?
Ethan Page can talk really well. Have CM Punk feud with no one in a lot of ways. Feud with the Ghost. Feud with the Devil. It works, right?
Yeah,
it works. And
you know what's also interesting about that, real quickly? MJF was cheered in Chicago, and yes, prompted by a Colt Cabana question. But we also saw the rough, mean, bad
CM
guy in CM Punk.
Who bashed fan favorite Hangman Page, fan favorites The Elite, and MJF.
This one maybe a line too far. Made fun of a guy that shared a bank account with his mother. You know,
Interesting.
Are you cheering for CM Punk? Are you booing for the classic supervillain MJF? Or are you going to be cheering the AEW original and booing the WWE guy?
I like Jericho's line. How he said MJF's going to be a fantastic babyface if he likes it or not. It's true.
It's true.
And somehow it could be now.
It might be now.
That's the fun of it. I'm really excited though.
He might at this point, the element of working. What are we working here for CM Punk? Working as a heel, right? Then that moment he's working as a heel. Whether it's on purpose or not, that's what's happening. MJF was cheered in Chicago over a champion in Punk.
And now you have the third match between these two, right?
Yep.
Third match. Do you add a stip? Do you not? What do you do? We don't know. We'll wait and see. But I couldn't be more excited for the future. I think there is a lot of excitement. You got the trios titles that are just absolute money. You have Kenny Omega back, and I won't say better than ever because Kenny Omega had like the greatest couple year run maybe of the past 2 decades for any wrestler.
Yeah.
But he feels like he's at that level already. And I can't wait to see what he does, And of course MJF. Everyone's saying that CM Punk outshined MJF with his comments after the show.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sitting here after you read all those comments and we went over those comments, and I've went on Twitter and read what he said and watched the video. To me, it's still about MJF. I don't think anything's changed.
That's what I'm
focused on. And if it's not, like you said, maybe CM Punk is that heel all of a sudden.
That's the question. That's the question
Always
we're left with.
Working.
Who are the heels? Who are the faces? Who are the bad guy? Am I a bad guy? I look in the mirror and think I'm the good guy. Who the heck knows? That is it. That is it for this week's episode of Ring Post Radio. Thank you so much, everybody. If you stayed up with us, thank you. If you're listening to us the next day, we appreciate that. It's 2 a.m. here. Scotty, we recorded 5 hours of wrestling audio today. I think that is a fantastic job by us, but boy howdy, are my legs tired from carrying all that audio.
Howdy, do I want to go to bed?
It's 2 a.m. here. I think that's a great way to end it with who are the villains, who are the heroes. I have been Ryan Knights. You can follow me on Twitter at Ryan Knightsy. That has been Scotty Edwards. You can follow him at Scott E Wrestling. Follow the whole show at Count Out Pod. Subscribe to the show on wherever you get podcasts. Join the Patreon, patreon.com/countoutpod. We would greatly appreciate it. We got 3 tiers, $3 tier, $5 tier, and $10 tier with a lot of different fun stuff like being able to see this live show. I think if you're on the Patreon, you can relive to see this live show, and you can see my cat being adorable and sleeping behind me the entire show, and it was very cute, and I loved him. That is it from us. We'll be back this Sunday, if I'm not mistaken, with an all-new episode of Ring Post Radio, talking about whatever else is new in the world. I don't recall us having a lot really to talk about, Scotty, this upcoming Sunday, so that will be interesting. Maybe we'll do a little Q&A thing. I don't know. But we'll talk about that later, and we'll figure it out for next week's Ring Post Radio. Until then, we'll see you all next time. Goodbye.
You're right! There's buried treasure here! How did you know?
There always be treasure in the independent waters, matey.
Why don't more people come here for their hunt for treasure, Captain?
It'd be a hard one to find, but if you want to make it easier to find, tune into Independent Waters on the Count Out Network.
Every Wednesday with your hosts, me, Zach Batista.
And me, Mikey Manfredi.
As we take you through the independent wrestling scene and find the treasure buried beneath the surface.
Whether you're new to indie wrestling or have been watching for years, this show is for you.
That's Independent Waters every Wednesday on the Countout Network.
See you there, landlubbers.
Life-changing decisions can be hard, or they can be flexible, inclusive, and best of all, rewarding. Earn your master's in computer science, data science, or information systems at Northeastern University in the San Francisco Bay Area. No matter your experience, earn your degree. Plus, the desirable Bay Area is a smaller, collaborative campus, but connected to the huge Northeastern University. Discover the different technology degrees available. Visit northeastern.edu/pathways to tech.
Don't miss Sleep Number's biggest sale of the year, where all smart beds are on sale. Right now, save 50% on the Sleep Number 360 limited edition smart bed. The bed's so smart, it senses your movements and automatically adjusts to keep you both comfortable all night long. So save 50% on the Sleep Number 360 limited edition smart bed today. Hurry, free delivery and special financing on all smart beds through Labor Day. Special financing subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. See sleepnumber.com for details.
This has been a Countout Podcast.